Hey Kingdom Daughters, happy Wednesday. I'm so excited to see y'all today, and I'm so excited about this word, which is about the most important commandment. So why don't we get our Bibles out, and we're going to go all the way to the book of Matthew, and we're starting in chapter 22, verse 34. So let's get right in. But when the Pharisees heard that he had silenced the Sadducees with his reply, they met together to question him again. One of them, an expert in religious law, tried to trap him with this question: "Teacher, which is the most important commandment in the law of Moses?" Jesus replied, "You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. A second is equally important. Love your neighbor as yourself. The entire law and all the demands of the prophets are based on these two commandments." So, I want to go right back to the very beginning, and Jesus is talking to the Pharisees. And the Pharisees, they were religious teachers, but they were bad. So they didn't teach for God's glory, they taught for their own glory. They wanted to teach and talk about God so people could look at them and say, "Oh my gosh, they're so spiritual, they're so cool." They just didn't do it for Jesus. So they asked Jesus, "Teacher, which is the most important commandment in the law of Moses?" But they asked this to trap him. They wanted to mess him up, trip him up, make him say something that wasn't correct. But then Jesus replied, "You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. This is the most important commandment." But how do you love your Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind? Well, I'm going to show you all a secret. So the key to all of this, to unlocking the greatest commandment, to loving God with all your soul, all your heart, and all your mind, is spending time with Him. You read His Word, you pray to Him, and you can worship Him. Because think of it like this: it says that in the Bible that Jesus is closer than a brother. Sorry, I tripped up for a second. Okay, so it says that Jesus is closer than a brother. So maybe if you don't have a brother, maybe think sister. Just think of someone you're really close to with, and think that Jesus is closer than even them. Jesus is your all-time greatest best friend. And when you go out to find a friend, to make a friend, you want to know their favorite color, their favorite food. You're asking these questions to get to know them. And you spend time with them and you try to get to know them. And it's the same thing with Jesus. You want to get to know him, like learn his favorite color. I don't even know if he has one. I'm sure he loves all the colors. But you want to get to know God in the same way. You have to put in that effort to get to know him, because he already knows you and he loves everything about you. He knows all the hairs on your head, all your freckles. He knows what you ate for breakfast, what's your favorite food. He already knows all this stuff about you. He just wants you to get to know him, because he's absolutely crazy about you. And everything you learn about Jesus, about who he is, and when you spend time with someone, you find out that he truly is your best friend. He truly wants the greatest things for you. He has everything planned out for you, the best things. Imagine the best plan for your life, the best things that could happen, and Jesus is like, "Yep, I already got that down. That's for you. That's already in plan. You just gotta trust me, trust your best friend, and I'm gonna set you on that path." The next thing that they talk about in Matthew 22 is love your neighbor as yourself. So when we think about ourselves, and say it's your birthday, you think about yourself and you're like, "I want to get these gifts, I want to have my favorite cake," and all this stuff, you just want blessings to come your way. And so Jesus, he says a second is equally important: love your neighbor as yourself. So neighbor being your mom, your friend, your sister, a stranger. You love them like you want to be loved, like how you want to love yourself. You want to give yourself gifts. You want to go buy that toy. You want to go buy that coloring book. You just point that to someone else. You want to bless that person, because the closer that you get to Jesus, the more love he shows you that he has towards other people. So the closer I got to Jesus, the more he showed me how much he loved people around me. So I would look at someone that I was friends with, and I was like, "This person is awesome. This person's amazing, and I just want to bless them." It was because Jesus was showing me how much he loved them. And it was just crazy. I loved others as myself, okay? So that's how it works. So these are the most important commandments. You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. And the key to this is to spend time with God. So we're gonna get into this craft, and this craft is a really cool, creative kind of thing that we're gonna do. It's kind of gonna help you get in the Word with God. It's gonna keep you accountable, and it's kind of be like a note system kind of thing, but it's cool, I promise. Okay, so our craft today is this flower on the page. So this is right here, it says grow with Jesus. And this is gonna kind of help you get to know Jesus, get to be closer with him, know who he is. It's kind of like an accountability flower. And if you don't know what that means, it means to keep yourself in check. It's kind of like a note system for yourself to help you remember the things you find out about Jesus. So every single morning this week for 7 days, I want you to wake up, get in the Word with God. You can do it with your parents, you can do it by yourself. Just get in the Word of God and read whatever story. It doesn't matter. And I just want you to find something out about Jesus in that story. I want to know if he's kind, if he's loving, if he created the earth and the moon. Like, I want you to find those things out about him. I want you to find his, I just want you to know who he is. Know that he is your friend, your best friend. And so every single time you find out something about him, you're gonna write it down on a flower petal. So every single morning, get up, read the Bible, find something out about Jesus, and I want you to write it down. And then the next morning, do it again. And there's 7 petals, so 7 days out of the week, that's a whole week. And so then at the end of the week, you can look at your craft and you can go, wow, these are all the things that Jesus is. This is who he is. And I think that's pretty cool. I mean, I wish I had something like this. So the materials that you need is you're going to need a piece of brown, black, whatever color you want. It's supposed to be the very center of your flower. And then a color for your petals. And then a color for your stem. And then you need your sky. And I chose this blue. And then you need some, just some glue, a pen or a pencil, a marker, and some scissors. So the very first step that you're gonna do is you're gonna cut out the stem of the flower. So you're just gonna take your green piece of paper and you're just gonna cut out just a single strip. There we go, just like that. And if you don't want it that long, you can cut it shorter. I'm gonna cut it like right there. And so then I'm gonna get my glue and I'm going to put it on the stem. Okay, there we go. So this is what we have. We just have your stem in the middle of the page. And then the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to get your brown piece of paper or your black, whatever color, and you're going to cut out a circle. Not a very big one because we want it to fit on the page, but it's supposed to be this middle part of your flower. So I'm just going to cut out a circle. There you go. There's a circle, and you're going to glue it to that very top part of your stem, like right there. There we go. And so the next part, the next step you're going to do is you're going to take the color for your petals, and you can use pink, blue, whatever you want. I have yellow. And you're going to take your pen or your pencil, and you're going to draw out 7 kind of like a medium-sized kind of petal, just big enough for you to write on it, and you can see it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so there we go. We have our 7 petals right here, and now I'm going to cut them all out. Okay, so I have my 7 flowers cut out to earth petals, and the next thing that we're going to do is that you're just going to glue them all around that circle right here to make your flower. There you go. So there you go your flower. And I didn't do a very good job of spacing it out to right, but it's okay, I can write small. So the next part that you can do is you can add a cute little leaf right here. You can put one right there. You can put how many you want. I think I'm just going to do 1 leaf. And you just cut it out like a petal, but maybe a little smaller. Alright, there you go. There's my leaf. And I'm just going to glue it right there. There we go. So there's my leaf. And the next part we're going to do is you're going to take your marker and you're going to draw your grass. And your grass is just going to go right over here, right over there. And I have a pretty small marker, but you can use a big marker. It doesn't even have to be green, just draw grass. Okay, so, oh wait. Okay. Alright, so there we go. There's our flower. And you can do the grow with Jesus part. You can do that. I think I'm going to do that. Just put it right there. Just kind of label it. And so what you just do is you just cut a square right there. There. Like a rectangle. And then you can get your marker, your pencil, or your pen, and you just write grow with Jesus. And there we go. And then you just glue it wherever. And there we go, we have our flower. So it's starting right now. Your accountability flower, your just something to help you with the word.